What's up, YouTube? So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about, this is another tier ranking video. I'm going to be doing NFL uniforms this time. I have divided everything up into divisions. I'm going to be doing the NFC first, then do the AFC. We're going to be starting off with the NFC West. So, the 49ers, definitely a classic uniform. Pretty basic, but solid, I'd say. It's not super innovative. I'd say probably a C for me. If I could put it between C and B, I would. Actually, I'll give that a B. But just know that I'd put it kind of in between if I could. The Rams uniforms. See, I like these ones with the brighter blue and the gold. I really like these uniforms, but I'm not really a fan of really any of their others. The white trim is pretty cool, but I'm not a big fan. Let's see. I think I'll put that on a B as well. I really like that uniform. I think it's pretty cool. I just think the bright colors, it really stands out. And I'm really just giving my opinion on this. There's really no way to, no real way to say for sure which one of these are better. Just my personal preference on the appearance of the uniforms. Okay, so the Cardinals, I'm not a big fan of the Cardinals uniform. I think it's pretty bland. I just feel like that they could use a little bit more to it. The white and red. I think I'm going to... I don't know. It's definitely not an F. I put that down there on accident. If I could put it between C and D, I probably would. But since I can't, The Seahawks. I like their uniforms a lot. I think they're newer uniforms. When did they come out with these? 2012, I believe it was. I love these uniforms. I think adding more of the lime green and adding just a little bit more detail, it really just made these uniforms really sexy to me. Yeah, so let's move on to the NFC East now. The Cowboys, this is probably going to be a little controversial, but I don't actually like the Cowboys uniform that much. I don't mind the blue jersey, but there's just something off to me. I feel like they just need something a little bit extra. It's not bad, but I'm going to put it in C. I think it's kind of a mid-tier uniform, to be completely honest with you. Now the Redskins, that's a C tier as well. That's pretty middle of the road. I think it's pretty basic. There's really no trim to it. There's really just nothing much. Yeah. Now the Eagles, I'm actually gonna put that in the B tier. I really like the look of their uniforms. If this was only talking about the helmets, it would be in the A tier for me. I think they have one of the best helmets in the NFL. Even though I actually kind of hate the Eagles, I do like their uniforms, and their alternate with the black jersey, that's really, really nice. I really like the black jerseys for them. Now, the Giants, again, pretty bland to me. I'm going to put that on C tier. But if I was talking about the away uniform, I don't really like that with the red numbers. I'm not a big fan of their away uniform at all. But, yeah. Now, the Packers. Very classic uniform. Pretty basic color scheme, but kind of like the 49ers, it just works for me. Now, when I was younger, I actually kind of hated their uniforms, but the more I've seen it, I like it. I do. It's basic, but it just works. I think that color scheme just works for me. The Bears, no. That's a D. No. Yeah, D. Yeah. That's a D tier for me. Yeah, no, I'll put it at C. It's not bad. It's not a bad uniform. I'm just not I'm not really too big on it. By the way, I think that there's probably only one F tier uniform for me, and I'll get into that later. Yeah. So the Lions. Now I liked their more classic uniforms a little bit more. I don't mind these with the silver numbers. But even the older one, they're both still C tiers for me. I don't think they're great. I don't think they're bad. I think they're just kind of middle of the road, kind of like these other uniforms. Now the Vikings. If this was their older uniform, with the darker purple with more gold trim, this probably would have been an A tier or B tier uniform. Probably A tier, but this one, I'm not that big a fan of. It's a C for me. I don't like that brighter purple. It kind of reminds me of Barney the Dinosaur a little bit. I remember when I first seen it, I was kind of disappointed. It's not a bad uniform. It's just in comparison to what it used to be. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Okay, so now moving on to the NFC South, the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, I actually like the Falcons uniforms. I think the little bit of trim on the shoulder pads looks really good. It's a pretty basic uniform, but I like it. The white, red, and black jerseys all look really good to me. Yeah, big fan of them. The Panthers, yeah, A tier for me. I love the Panthers uniforms so much, and that's all of them, whether it be the white, the blue, or the black. I love their uniforms. Honestly, if I could, I'd probably move this above A tier because I think this is probably my favorite uniform in the NFL. And I'm not a Panthers fan. If you follow this channel at all, you'll know I'm a Dolphins fan, and I'll get into how I think about the Dolphins' current uniform in a minute. Because as you can see, the AFC East is the first AFC division. But for now, let's finish off the NFC South. The Saints. I'll put that in B tier. I really like the gold and black on their uniforms. I actually think I kind of like their gold and black a little bit better than the Steelers. I think the gold helmet and overall, I just like it. I just really like their uniforms. And by the way, as you'll see, I have no issue with the Steelers uniform either, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Now, the Buccaneers. If this was the 2000s uniform, the one that they won the Super Bowl with, this might be a little bit higher, but as the uniform is right now, I think it's a D tier. I'm not a big fan of the font of red they're using. I don't like the trim. I don't like the pewter on the shoulder pads. I don't even like the font for the numbers, honestly. Just not a big fan of the Bucs' current uniform. But if this was their older one, it probably would have been a C tier. And their creamsicle uniform probably would have been an F, personally. Okay, so that's it for the NFC. We're going to be moving on to the AFC now. Starting off with the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills, I think they're another one that's pretty mid-tier for me. It's okay. White and blue is fine. The little bit of red in there, just kind of bland to me. Not a big fan of the Bills uniforms. I will say I do like it better than their older ones with the red helmets. I really didn't like that. I think the red and blue really clashed, and I didn't like it. Now, the New England Patriots. I hate the New England Patriots, but that uniform in particular is awesome. I'm not a big fan of the throwbacks with the red, but that dark blue and the silver helmet, that uniform's really, really nice to me. I hate the Patriots, but I do really like their uniforms. I think it's really smooth looking. Yeah, as I said, the Miami Dolphins, D tier, honestly. Now, if we're talking about our throwbacks, no matter which one you're talking about, whether it be the more classic one or if you're talking about the 2000s one, whatever, those would both be A tier to me. And they would be up there probably with the Panthers for my favorite uniform in the NFL. But these current ones, ever since we partnered with SeaWorld and got this brighter this brighter blue color. Even the emblem, I think, looks pretty ugly now. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of these uniforms. But like I said, it's not an F tier. I think that there's only really one F tier uniform. The Jets is the last AFC East team. The current Jets uniform, I actually kind of like. If I could kind of put it between C and B, I would. But I think it's closer to C. I do definitely like it better than the uniform that they've been using with the white helmets. I think this is very modern, very sexy. You know what? I'll even put that at B. But just know it's kind of in between. Kind of like I said about the Eagles and the Falcons. But yeah, I really like their new uniforms. Now the AFC North. Yeah, so the Pittsburgh Steelers, I do like their uniforms as well. I'll put that at B. I'll put that in the B tier. Very classic look. They haven't really messed with it much, other than changing the font a little bit of the numbers. But it works. I definitely do like their home uniforms better than their away. The white jersey I'm not as big a fan of, but the home uniform is very, very good. Cincinnati Bengals, I actually really like their I actually really like their uniform. And I'm actually going to go ahead and switch these up. I'm going to talk about the Browns before the Ravens. But the Bengals, I really like their uniforms. I really like that black clashing with the orange with the stripes. I like the white going down the side of the jersey. Everything about it is just really interesting to me. And I actually like their orange jersey as well. The alternate. I really like that as well. Now, the current Browns uniform, that's an F. That is the only F-tier uniform in my opinion. I think these are atrocious. I think everything about them is ugly. I think the design on the shoulder pads is ugly. I think the orange numbers are ugly. I mean, granted, orange and brown aren't really the best colors to work with, but look, Cincinnati is able to pull off a similar color scheme. I like Cincinnati's, but Cleveland's uniform, it's always been bad, but I think even the classic one is better than this. Those orange numbers and that shit on the shoulder pads, it's just hideous to me. Baltimore. D tier. But keep in mind when I say D tier, I'm talking specifically about their main uniforms. I'm not talking about the alternates with the black jersey. Because the black jersey would probably be a C tier, because I do like the black jersey. But the purple jersey and the white one, I'm not a big fan of. Like, at all. Yeah. The Raiders, that's a B tier to me. I really like the Raiders uniforms. It's simple, but the silver and black, it's just an awesome color scheme. It just is. It's very simple, but it works, just because that color scheme is just amazing. The Denver Broncos. I love their uniforms. That's honestly an A tier for me. I really, really like their uniforms. And I don't care which one you're talking about. If you're talking about the orange jersey, the dark blue, the white, it all looks really good to me. Not a big fan of their throwbacks. You know, the one Elway was known to use with the baby blue helmets. I'm not a big fan of those. But I really like these modern-day Denver Broncos uniforms. Now, the Chargers, it's kind of tough because if it's just this uniform with the powder blue jersey, this would be an A tier for me. I really like these uniforms. But the dark blue, I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of their white jerseys either. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the B tier, because this powder blue is keeping them up, but their away jersey and their throwbacks, not so much. Kansas City Chiefs, that's a D tier. Just not a big fan of the overuse of red, and especially such a bright red. I kind of wish, I was about to say I kind of wish that their helmets was white, but then it would just look like the Cardinals. But that bright red all over, it's ugly to me. It's too much. They all look like the Kool-Aid Man. And it only made it worse when Andy Reid is their coach. I mean, yeah, not a big fan of the Chiefs uniforms. The Colts, very basic. Kind of like the Bills. It works. It's very simple, but like I said, it's just simple. No real intuitive design. It's not good or bad. It's not unpleasant, but not really a big fan of it either. The Titans. These Titans uniforms, I like a lot. I think that's a B tier. The only reason it's not an A is because they're away. I don't really like those much, but that home uniform is just sexy to me. Their newer one, but their away jerseys are what's keeping them away from being an A tier for me. The Jaguars, that's actually a B tier for me as well. Well, no, I'm gonna put it in C because I like this jersey. I like this uniform. But their away uniform, I'm not a big fan of. It's just the black jersey that I like. Houston Texans, I'm going to put in the same spot. I think their uniforms are pretty basic. Kind of similar to the Bears, honestly. Just a little bit of a brighter blue, and instead of orange, it's red. I mean, it's not bad. It's basic. It works, but I'm not a big fan of it. But yeah, I'm not going to hold you guys too long here. Just want to make a quick little video, and I seen this tier list on there, so I figured I'd go ahead and do it. But yeah, if you like this video, I would appreciate you hitting that like button. If you have any questions or comments, leave in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.